Pre-game show. Reading has been light this week, but Cesar Vallejo, I think I'm pronouncing that right, is a wonderful, wonderful early 20th century Mexican poet, and it comes off as avant-garde, but at the same time has a sort of classic feel to it that just feels kind of late modernist, sort of a much more dream, kind of like I don't know if you know T.S. Eliot, Ezra Pound, sort of like lived more in the area of dreams and association and sort of sense, rather than some of the sort of like more intellectual, headier spaces that they tended to go into. And unfortunately, I'm very sad about this. This is an older copy. This is, you can see it right here. It boasts that it won the 1979 National Book Award, which should tell you some of the age, and it's a paperback, so unfortunately we got had a breach there. And let's see. I want finally, when I am at the celebrated edge of violence, or my heart full of chest, I would like to help whoever smiles laugh, to put a little bird right on the evil man's nape, to take care of the sick annoying them, to buy from the vendor, to help the killer kill, a terrible thing, and I would like to be kind to myself in everything. And that's the kind of like very, very sort of oceanic feeling, where it's sympathizing with the compulsion to do great good and great evil, and in that process to be kind to himself, which is a surprisingly modern sentiment to sort of at least very modern phrasing for an old sentiment. But the other book that I've been reading is this, which is Why He Doesn't Sleep by Stephen Gardner, a book of poems, and I'm going to show you one of them here. Stephen Gardner was a professor at University of South Carolina, Aiken, and was in fact my poetic mentor. He is the one who got me into poetry, taught me the ways that I love it, and his lessons are sort of bedrocks that I go back to time and time again, and also was a foundation for a lot of how I approach video game criticism. So this is a very important man to me, and I'm going to show you one of his poems here. That title appeals pretty well to your... I know. Good evening, Iceman Dan. How are you? It's good to see you. And which title is that? Why He Doesn't Sleep? Oh, yes. Sorry, I had to vocalize it before I got it. Yeah, Evening Arc. It's good to see you. Actually, I think the later stream probably flatters your operating hours a little bit better, doesn't it? But yeah, so here is the poem. Let's see, what page was that on? There we go. It'd be easier for me to read it off mine than... At 2 a.m. Yikes. So yeah, you are definitely Eastern time zone. That is a later time than it is here. There we go. So yeah, this is oh, well, I'm glad that you were able to stop by and say hello nonetheless. Although, no, that technically is your operating hours, just unfortunately not the best operating hours to get your attendance. Oh yeah, Night Owl mode. I likewise am in the same boat. I will be up until 3. So this poem is titled Portage. This is portage, of course, being hucking something up on your back and taking it somewhere. And let me just read this here. We'll read this. Just one click north, the water rolls to froth. Pushing hard astern, he finds a rocky berth, springs over the side, lifts the bow. From this point, it's all aground until the canyon walls erode to easy Carolina hills. Now's the time he'll measure what he needs. So afoot, the kayak on his back, he drags the stern across saxifrage and fern. Lavender blossoms shed their petals in the trough he carves through mold and leaf fall. He has a way to go tonight. He has a camp to set, tent to pitch, fire. With the sun up anew, he'll strike out for the valley where every seed erupts into song. Quiet eddies lap and whisper him to the bank. Low cliffs, flat and pebbled shore. He's so damned strong, this lanky country boy from 6 Mile, we all know he could have carried more. And so I can tell you why I like this. This is, again, this guy was my poetic mentor, so I sort of like have this very intuitive, just like heart connection to what's going on here. The sensuality of the imagery, of course, the deep connection to nature, the ability to summon up a landscape. If you don't know what many of these flowers look like, saxifrage I think is probably the most obscure of them, and I actually have a picture of it here. if you would like to see what this flower looks like in the Carolinas. So I can kind of swing that back that way. So that's saxifrage. Beautiful, beautiful flower that we have in the, you know, even though I don't live there anymore, I still use the collective we. And that will always be the case. But yeah, so that's saxifrage, and you know, lavender, fern. I think most people kind of have a frame of reference for that. But yeah, the language has the language has a solid rhythm. It's sensuous. It is evocative. You can feel the journey that he's taking in the way the words themselves sort of march, and march in this sense being an appropriate verb. And it's also sort of, there's also an Elysium quality to where this kid's going, right? Where every seed erupts into song, which is just gorgeous. And you think that it's kind of taking this sort of like very happy, it's sort of like a happy perspective on this journey, but at the very end there's a dramatic turn, which is just beautiful and brilliant, and it tells you just enough to know that you should doubt your feeling of happiness, but it doesn't tell you in which direction to point that doubt, and that is brilliant, because we all know he could have carried more. He's carrying like a rucksack and a kayak, and he's carrying everything for himself, and that's what's fascinating. He's carrying everything for himself, even the kayak, which is a one-person aquatic vehicle, boat. Thank you. and that's just brilliant. And you wonder, like, is there a selfishness here? Did he abandon somebody? Was there somebody to whom he owed nothing, but could have, through an act of mercy or generosity, given something? And it leaves that so open to wonder. And that is one of the things that the poem gives you as a gift. It's not knowing, and then being able to take that abstraction, find what you need in it, and then bond with the poem, bond with the drama, and sort of then re-enter it from the start and go back through and reappreciate all the sensuousness, all the concreteness, all the rhythm for the more ambiguous experience that it actually is. And yeah, so this is lovely. It's beautiful, and Stephen Gardner was an amazing teacher and an amazing poet. And if you're interested in more of this stuff, the anthology is Why He Doesn't Sleep, the Poems of Stephen Gardner. And yeah, so that is my dude. Love you, Steve. Yeah, I recommend it highly. These every poem, oh yeah, I also really like, what is that here? I can't even see it. It's so artifacted on my screen with, let's see, lavender blossoms shed their petals in the trough he carves through mold and leaf fall. It's just gorgeous. And the thing is, it's so simple, it's so deceptive, you almost don't know that it takes a tremendous amount of time, experience, and talent to be able to pull something like that off that feels like it could just be prose, but isn't. It's so good. That is why I'm in this. So, Phantom Pain.